This is the apartment building that I live in, and you could call it pretty high density living. It's 350-story towers that are built on top of a shopping mall. This is day one of the lockdown and day one of the curfew in Manila. The curfew runs from 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. And this vlog is intended to just be one day in the life of one person in this particular area, which is Mandaluyong in Manila. And if you look around, it looks like just a normal day here in my condominium. Nobody seems to be panicking. Everybody seems to be pretty relaxed, taking their evening exercise. Hang on a second. Yes.
Sir, the video, sir, is not allowed. You go to the admin office for get to the work permit and continue the meeting.
I need a permit to film. So that was the SM Light Mall that my apartment building's above. And since the lockdown, the idea is that the mall remains open, but only to provide access to essential services like the supermarket and the medical clinic that's upstairs. But all those staff you may have noticed who walked out of the medical clinic when I was up there, I spoke to them just before and they've said that they won't be opening tomorrow. So, there's a bus, absolutely jam-packed full of people, and we'll just stop there for a moment. So let's head on up to the MRT, the train station. As you can see, the roads are still pretty busy. Oh, these are very long lines. Oh, these lines are just crazy. The reason for them is that when the lockdown was brought into force, there was social distancing that came with it, and so the guards and the MRT, the Manila Rapid Transport Train Authority, are enforcing social distancing. So the idea is there are 2 platforms further down, and there are only 12 people allowed onto each train, going up or going down. So the guards will only let 24 people through at any given time. So when a train comes, another 12 can go down. So you can imagine how long it's going to take for these people to get onto a train. And the trains aren't, you know, they don't run just one after another.
Will you be open tomorrow? Will you be open tomorrow? Yeah?
He didn't seem too sure. Let's go down a bit further. Hi.
Hey, can you tell me, will you be open tomorrow? Tomorrow. Are you open tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
You're open tomorrow? Oh, that's good. You sure?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Oh, good. Good.
So just to repeat, this is only day 1 of the lockdown. And already things are getting a little bit difficult. A friend of mine's father passed away, and yesterday, prior to the lockdown, they took the body out of Bangkok and up to their province. Because they came from Manila, and only because they came from Manila, the Department of Health has had them under surveillance, and they've been under home quarantine the whole time they've been in the province, and will be the whole time they're in the province, and they will require a Department of Health certificate, which is a permit, to come back to Manila. So things are getting pretty serious. I mean, when you're put into home quarantine when you're traveling from region to region, not country to country, that's getting fairly serious. So the reason I'm here is I wanted to see how many of the street vendors are still open. And it's probably about, it looks like it's the smaller street vendors. Most of the restaurants seem to have closed. And as you saw when we were walking through the shopping mall, all of the restaurants were closed. President Duterte announced around about an hour ago to the media that there will now be enhanced social quarantine, and there's not a lot of information out at the moment about it. I was watching CNN Philippines and they were saying we don't really know all the details yet, but what we do know is that all public transport will stop tomorrow. That's trains, buses, jeepneys. It's also Uber, Grab, taxis, and Grab apparently employs 50,000 drivers, and they're seen as small business people, so their income's just stopped. This is going to have huge implications on Manila. Also, banks will close. You'll have to use ATMs, and apparently a lot of people don't have ATM cards. They actually go to the bank to do their banking. So that could be a problem as well. There's also all work will stop. Supermarkets will remain open, but they will have to observe social distancing, and there will be purchasing regulations. And those regulations haven't been explained. To give you an idea about the social distancing thing, I mean, you know, we talked about the train station, the MRT, but I was at another mall earlier today, and it's a mall that could take quite a few thousand people. Mind you, most of the shops were closed. All that was open earlier today was banks, the supermarket, and if there was a medical clinic in there, that would have been open too. And they were limiting the number of people into the mall to 200. And once it got to 200, it was one person out, one person in. And the line, the queue to the door, was about half a kilometre long. And another aspect of an enhanced community quarantine will be strict home quarantine. So that means that you should only be leaving the house to go to the supermarket or perhaps to a hospital. You'd have to have a very good reason to not be at home. So that's one of the very few places that I've seen that's open. And so I took the opportunity to get a whole lot of food. Otherwise, maybe the convenience store's open and I can get a hot dog, or I could go to the supermarket and buy some things and wait in a queue for 2 hours to check out. I just received a text message from the friend of mine I talked about who's taken her father's body up to the provinces for burial, and they've just had a visit from the police because a local resident claims to have seen one of them in a local restaurant, and they'll be in breach of home quarantine if that's the case, and it's not the case. And so this is day one, and tomorrow all of these people won't be here because there won't be any trains, and they won't have come into Manila to work. They'll be at home. It's getting serious now. And just to be clear, I'm not complaining about this enhanced community quarantine. It's probably necessary. I'm just stating the facts as they are. And so this is Mandaluyong, Manila, on the 16th of March 2020. Sorry?
Your wife.
My wife?
Yeah.
No, my wife isn't here.
I'm
not
single,
married.
I'm single, sir. I'm single.